Right now, here coming to the Dean Davis Show, we have
Lyndsay Petruny of Inside the Bears. You can find that right on. It's on Fox. You can definitely find it on Fox. It's on
My 50 Chicago.
My 50 Chicago too, as well. And with our co-host Anthony Adams, so we all here in Chicago like to call him Spice.
Mm-hmm.
But Lyndsay, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Lyndsay.
How you
doing?
guys? How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing good. Trying to warm up. It is like 2 degrees. It feels like it's like negative 2 degrees
yes,
outside
it was
right
freezing. We were standing outside. We're sorry that you had to come on later, Lyndsay. We had to hold up getting into the studio today.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. And, yeah, it's definitely chilly in Chicago. Still getting used to it. But I think Monday night's going to be pretty interesting. So
Yes.
hope everybody bundles up for that one because I'm hearing it's supposed to be, I think, 10 degrees at kickoff or something like that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, definitely get out the hand warmers and the gloves and scarves because it's going to be a chilly one.
Hi, Lyndsay. This is Sid the Kid. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Going back to the game against the Baltimore Ravens back on November 17th. Have you experienced anything like the tornadoes, outside circumstances in all your years in covering sports? Have you experienced anything like that before?
No, actually I haven't, and I think it was true for a lot of people that were fans at the stadium, and also just some of my colleagues. I don't really think that any of us, well, I can't say any of us, but many of us, I don't think have experienced anything like that. I think that the staff at Soldier Field, I think they took all the right precautions, and once it was time for us to leave the field and to kind of take cover, I think they made us aware of that well before everything really hit. So I think they did a great job of getting everyone to take cover and go into the concourses, and they took all the necessary precautions even before the bad weather really arrived at Soldier Field because they kind of knew what was coming. So I definitely think they made a good call, and yeah, definitely a scary day. And actually, I was down in Coal City, Illinois with some of the Bears players, and they also just did another trip this past week to Washington, Illinois to help out all the tornado victims. So it was really emotional. I know when I went down to Coal City with the players, the people just were really amazing. Their spirits were really high, and I think it's because of the Bears. And they were just so excited to see that the Bears were coming down to help on their day off, and it was pretty cool to see these people just were staying really positive, and they were just so happy to see the Bears. So it was a really great day overall.
Nice. We are talking to Lyndsay Petruny. You can follow her at L Petruny on Twitter. It's L Petruny. She's also the co-host of Inside the Bears. Now, Lyndsay, I have to ask you this. What is it like to work with Anthony Adams? This guy seems like the biggest ham you would ever want to meet. Now,
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
He is awesome to work with. We have such a great time. That's actually a question that I get asked a lot, which is really funny. That's probably the most popular question that I'm asked, or I get asked where he is, because sometimes we will cover different events, and sometimes we're doing features for the show, and we're not always together. So I think people are kind of disappointed when it's just me. When I'm coming to cover an event and Anthony isn't with me.
No.
I think people are disappointed because they ask, everyone's like, but where's Anthony? So I don't think that happens to him. I don't think anyone's ever asked me where I am, but
yeah, something's wrong with those people.
We definitely have a great time, and he actually a couple weeks ago, before we were about to shoot the show, he had an energy drink. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you are the last person that would ever need an energy drink. Do not ever drink one of those again. Because he is just like, he was so crazy that day, but crazy in a good way, because he was more hysterical than he typically is. But I don't think he needs any 5-hour energies or any kind of energy drinks. I think he's perfectly great without all that stuff. He does not need those at all.
Hey, Liz, this is Davis. How do you feel right now about the state of the Bears this season? Are they ticking up, or are they ticking down, or do you think they're going to be going good as far as like next season? Are they in the right hands? Because I think Trestman's the right coach, but this past week he kind of took a hit with some of his coaching decisions from the last game.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I think unfortunately the Bears have really had so many injuries this season, and it's really difficult to find that resiliency once you lose a lot of the leaders on the team and a lot of guys that I think have a really big impact. So I think that they've done a really great job working through it, and I think that the rookies have really stepped up. I mean, the rookie class is awesome. I can't say enough good things about them. Not only, especially with Jordan Mills and Kyle Long, not only their play on the field, but also just out in the community. I mean, they're constantly out, going to charity events and doing really anything they can to help out in the community. So I think they've really embraced the NFL and everything that comes with it, on the field, off the field, all that stuff. So I think that I just think they've run into a lot of issues with injuries, and I think that they're doing the best that they can. I definitely really have a lot of respect for Coach Trustman. He is just one of the most genuine people that I've ever seen in the league. He really cares about people. He cares about his players. And, unfortunately the game didn't really work out the way that the team wanted to last weekend, but I'm really hoping that the Bears can win out, and we'll see what happens with the Lions.
Talking to Lyndsay Petruny of Inside the Bears right here on the
Get it right,
show.
D.
I'm going to get it.
Nail it. Nail that.
I'm still trying to warm up a little bit
You
over
are.
here.
Nail that, D.
Sid.
Hi, Lyndsay. This is Sid again. And one of the things I like about your guys' TV show Inside the Bears is the great feature stories. I just want to get your couple of comments on a couple of my top favorite moments. I have here, and the first one is the 6-year-old Thomas Young from Georgia, from the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Illinois. He met Devin Hester, and he attended the Bears and Vikings game back in September. Do you have an update on Mr. Young? What happened to him after the game, or is he doing fine? And what was their experience like?
Yeah, I don't have an update. I don't have an update on him, but his whole family came, and actually, his brother was actually affected by the same illness that Thomas was affected by. So his brother actually was here too, and he just was honestly cutest kid. I mean, his accent I couldn't even include in the feature that you guys saw on Inside the Bears. I couldn't include everything that I wanted to include just because, we have a time limit for our features, and I couldn't get everything in that I wanted to get in. But his accent, just coming from Georgia, I mean, when I asked him, if he was excited for the game on Sunday, as you mentioned, he went to the Vikings game, and just his accent, he said, like, Vikings, like, that's how he said Vikings. It was just adorable. Like, he's like, yeah, the Bears and the Vikings. And he was just the sweetest little boy, and he loves Devin Hester. So it was really cool to see that. All the guys, they were joking around with him. I know Martellus Bennett, said, "Man, you're a Hester fan? Man, we have to change that." And it was pretty funny. And so a lot of the guys, I know Jordan Mills signed his gloves and gave his gloves to Thomas, and a lot of the guys were coming up and giving him gloves and items that they wear during practice and things like that. So that was really cool, and I think he was just really focused on Devin Hester. So he I don't know, it might all be a blur to him but I think he was excited to meet all the players, but especially Devin, because when I asked him what all he talked about was Devin Hester. So I tried to ask him what he likes about the Bears aside from Devin Hester. And he said, when Devin Hester runs. So he could never really get away from Devin Hester, even though I was trying to find out what else he liked about the team. He still brought up Devin Hester.
Yeah, I know you predicted he wanted Devin Hester to score 100 touchdowns, which we all know is impossible to do in one game, let alone score one.
Hey.
Right. But you know what? Devin Hester, though, that game, he did have a really great game. I think he actually... I don't know. I think he had like 249 return yards or something. I mean, he had. I'd have to look that up, but he had like almost a record for return yards that game. It might have been like a single season record or something. So, or a single game record. So I actually thought that was really cool. That Devin had such a great game too. That was really nice to see, because one of his biggest fans was there. So that was pretty cool. It was just great, and we actually just did another story with a foundation. It's called Dreams Come True. And a girl from Florida, she's battling ovarian cancer. So she came up, and actually her favorite player is Julius Peppers. So she got to talk with Julius, and that's actually going to be airing in an upcoming edition of Inside the Bears. I actually think it might be either next weekend or the weekend after. So that's a really cool story too. And she was 16 years old. She was 15 or 16 years old, and she was really knowledgeable about football. She said she was raised to love the defense, and
nice.
it was really, really refreshing to hear, because I feel like most people are all about the receivers
Offense.
and the quarterback and all the offensive players. So it was really cool to hear. She was really excited to meet the defensive line. So that was cool. That was really cool.
Well, hopefully
yeah.
when she talks to Peppers, he has a great game like Devin had a great game. Hopefully
I
we
know.
get a little rub off.
And I'm wearing his jersey, Lyndsay, by the way, so just not to rub it in, but just maybe to bring him some good luck on Monday night.
Hopefully.
Right.
Lyndsay, one last thing I did see on the show, and I believe I maybe called on the website. You was in the kicking field goals with Robbie Gould.
I was. Yeah, I was.
How difficult is that really? Because I know a lot of people say, it's so easy for a kicker, and I know he's trying to kick it into the bucket, or he was kicking it into the bucket, and you was trying to hold it. How difficult really is that?
I mean, I couldn't even. I used to play soccer, so I feel like I had some idea of how to kick it, and I still. Just to get the lift on it. I mean, I was only trying to kick it, I think, from like maybe the 15 or something. I mean, I wasn't when I was attempting field goals. So I just think it blows my mind to think about, when he is kicking a really long field goal that's like 50 plus yards. I just have no idea how he actually gets the lift on it to the point that, some of these players on the opposing team aren't able to block it, because I just don't understand how you get both the distance, and the lift to make it, go through the upright. So it's really difficult. I mean, it's really, really difficult, and I feel like it's honestly really hard to understand how, like I said, especially those long field goals.
Outside
and
conditions,
plus, I mean,
and
so many
everything.
things have to go right. There's so many things that people just think like, oh, you just snap it and he kicks it, but there are so many things. I don't know if you guys saw on Thanksgiving. I remember when the Steelers played the Ravens, they had that botched field goal.
Yes.
And there are just so many things, and everyone's saying, like, what were they doing? Were they trying to, were they attempting a fake field goal? And I mean, they weren't. It just was botched, and there's just so much pressure on so many people involved to kick a field goal. So I think a lot goes into it that people don't really realize.
Hey, Lyndsay, a quick question. Looking at your bio, you follow one of the greatest franchises, the greatest coach, and perhaps one of the greatest quarterbacks in football in the Patriots, Belichick and Brady. What can you tell us, somebody from the outside, from Chicago, following a great organization like that what stood out to you, and what do you think made them that well in how they functioned and handled their business out on the field?
I just think that they know what they're doing, and I think that they run a type of organization that, I mean, they mean business, and I think that they just have the experience. I think Bill Belichick, I just think that they figured out what works and what doesn't work. And, I mean, going into this season, I know a lot of people were, saying, well, what receivers do they have? What tight ends do they have? And, I mean, you see where they are right now when they didn't have Rob Gronkowski back yet. And they didn't have Wes Welker all season, and they made it work. They found these guys. Julian Edelman stepped up, Danny Amendola, even though he was out for a while. I feel like Brady has the ability to just turn these offensive players into stars. I just feel like it's him just taking guys, some of these rookies, rookie receivers that the Patriots have, and taking some of these other guys and just putting them in a position to succeed. So, I just think that they're a really well-run organization. I think they've found success, but they know the formula to find the success. So it's not just like some fluke, like, oh, they're doing really well. They know what's working and what's not working. So I think that's why just year after year, if they lose players or, they've lost so many of their really standout defensive players. Vince Wilfork and Gerard Mayo this year. That's two captains that they lost, and they somehow, they always seem to make it work. So it's pretty impressive.
Lyndsay, we appreciate you coming on. Please let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you guys want me to do another segment? Because I can probably do one more if you guys would want to.
Yeah,
Sure.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
So,
that's
all right,
cool.
we'll be right back.
So I don't know. Do you guys have to send it to break? Or
Yeah, we're going to send it to break. Okay, look at you. You're a pro. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll stick around for one more.
Yeah, cool. This is the D and Davis Show right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. We'll be right back with more with Lyndsay. Stay tuned. Hello, Saturdays. That's right. The D and Davis Show is moving from Sundays to Saturdays right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
You need a top-tier quarterback. We don't have it. Let's stop lying about this. D wants to give Cutler money just because we never had a quarterback. So what D's saying is, if he's in an abusive relationship and he gets out of that relationship and the first husband punched him, but this husband just smacks him open hand, he accepts it.
I'm not saying
I'm not going to be abused anymore.
Every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
D and Davis Show. This is Davis, of course. Dial us up at 312-564-7375. As Mike just said on the update, we are talking to Lyndsay Petruny of Inside the Bears. Lyndsay, quick question for you. Monday night is Mike Ditka night, the last jersey from a Bear that's going to be retired. It's going to be freezing out there. Are you going to be out there? Do you have to freeze with the people that day, or are you going to be toasty somewhere in the studio or at least at home?
I hope you're going to be in the studio.
Oh, no, I'll be freezing on the sideline.
Oh, we're so sorry, Lyndsay.
Our serious
Her and Zach Zayman both.
Please.
We apologize.
Stay warm. At least you're at the event. Stay warm. But yeah, Monday night is the last Bears jersey ever to be retired because the Bears have too many numbers retired. The league told them they had to stop. And it's Iron Mike, who, for anybody out there that lived under a rock, is a Hall of Fame Bears tight end and
head coach.
The last coach to win the Super Bowl. Well, the only coach to win the Super Bowl, because when Papa Bear House was winning, they were just championships. Mm-hmm. So what do you think of such a big night? And we all know the kind of problems the Bears had with Mike Ditka with the Bears as far as the McCaskey family. It's nice to see them together. But what do you expect to see that night? Hopefully a Bears victory, but just at the event from Iron Mike having his jersey retired.
Well, first of all, I have a very fun fact for you guys.
Oh, nice.
And this fun fact is that my family is from the same hometown as
Aliquippa? Your family's from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania?
That is correct. Yep, you got it. I grew up down the road from Aliquippa, but my entire mom's side of my family is from Aliquippa, and my grandpa still lives in Aliquippa, probably like 5 minutes down the road from where Mike Ditka grew up.
Nice.
Darrell Revis is from Aliquippa also. They produce football players in Aliquippa.
They absolutely do. So actually, it's pretty cool because everyone in my hometown back in Aliquippa, everyone's really excited to, see Mike Ditka's jersey retired, and it's also a big deal for my friends and family back home because, Iron Mike, he grew up in Aliquippa. Yeah. So that's pretty cool in itself, and I feel like I have, kind of a connection to that simply because that's where my family's from and everything. But especially for that reason, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm not 100% sure what all is planned at halftime and, what's planned throughout the night, but I think it's just going to be a really, really great event, and I think it's going to be great to see, and obviously, I think it's awesome that they're retiring his number. So,
what do you all have planned with the show revolving around the Monday night game and Mike Ditka's getting his jersey retired?
Well, actually, so on Inside the Bears this weekend, the show that's airing, so it aired last night at 9:30 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then it's airing today at 5 p.m. on Fox Chicago, and on 6:30. You know what? I should probably actually check this. I just got an email saying that maybe the times have changed. So let me check on that. But we actually are airing. It's really cool because it's all these players who are either former teammates of Mike Ditka or players that have played for Coach Ditka.
Oh, cool.
So it's really cool. A lot of really great former players have commented, talked about, you know, their favorite Ditka memories, and we actually included, what's really cool is there was one game where a fan, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a fan ran out.
He tackled him
onto the field, and Ditka like runs up and just like you know
hammered him.
Like
He hammered
the
him.
fan.
Yeah.
So there's actually video of that in the show, which was like I mean, I had never seen it, so that was just crazy to see. But yeah, so we're doing that, and we also have another really funny feature that we did, and it's Anthony Adams, and he's interviewing number 89, quote unquote, number 89, exclusive interview with number 89, and number 89 turns out to be this like random guy named like Brent Novoselinsky, and he like was number 89 back in the 90s.
Wow.
He actually went to high school with the Bears' main web reporter, Larry Mayer. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff ever, but he actually went to high school with Larry Mayer, and so you have all these guys commenting and saying, you know, congratulations, 89, and it's just hilarious because you know how Anthony is. So Anthony's doing an interview with him, and Anthony's like, so how's it feel that, you know, they're retiring your number? And he's like, I really don't think it's for me, though. And Anthony's like, what do you mean? You're number 89. And it's really, really funny, and it's a really good piece. So we're kind of doing a few different, like, Ditka little, you know, one is kind of a comedy, and then one is serious because it's just all the teammates and all his former players talking about, you know, his days with the Bears and coaching the Bears, and so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool show this weekend, so I definitely have to check and see. We just got the updated time, so I'll let you guys know later in the show, I guess, when we can catch that.
Nice.
Okay. Hey, Lyndsay, this is Sid again.
Hi.
I just wanted to tell you one of the other things I like about Inside the Bears is the outtakes after the end of every show. In one episode in particular, Anthony Adams was dancing his butt off like James Brown, the Godfather's soul. And I was kind of checking you out, too. You got a nice, cool moves yourself. And so I was thinking about, before we brought you on here today, is that next time we have you on, we definitely had to bring you into our studio. So I had this idea. It's going to be us here at the show, you and Mr. Spice Adams teach us a couple of dance lessons, and then we can get a little Soul Train line going. How about that?
Oh, the studio's that big enough, Sydney.
We can do somewhere else.
I think that Anthony would definitely steal the spotlight because he typically, like, he has to break out the dancing at least once every show. So I feel like he always initiates it, but he has some good moves. He really does. So I think that dancing, especially in the bloopers at the end, I feel like they've become a must in every show. So
yes, it is.
You definitely have a good point about that.
I'll admit.
It is,
yeah, go ahead.
What? No, I was gonna say it really he likes to dance and actually, you know, our producer, he puts on some music a lot of times, like kind of get us fired up, and he'll put some really good jams on, so that definitely helps bring it out as well.
Yeah, because I can only do the moonwalk barely with Michael Jordan gym shoes on, so I could get a few tips from Mr. Adams, and then all of us can do a video together. So I said that's a great idea. I'll bring it up to Lyndsay. So if you're up for it, let's go for it. I'm ready to do it.
Sydney, I did not know you was a man of the moves like this.
Hey, we all could use an improvement. I'll admit my problems right here on the air. So.
Oh man. Well, Lyndsay, Lyndsay, I would say thank you so much for sticking around for a little bit longer too. Once again, where can everybody find you in the show?
Okay, so it sort of varies week to week, but it's typically on Friday nights at 9:30 p.m. on Fox Chicago. This weekend, so today, it's on at 1:30 p.m. on Fox Chicago. So it's coming on pretty soon, like hour 20 minutes. It'll be on today on Fox Chicago at 1:30 p.m. It's on today at 6 p.m. on My 50 Chicago, and then it's on Sunday nights at 11:05 p.m. on Fox Chicago.
Nice.
So four
sorry,
different times during the weekend you can catch it. Typically, it's on Saturdays at 5 p.m. on Fox Chicago, typically. But today, there's probably a game and a scheduling change. So today it's on at 1:30. So you could actually catch it, in an hour and 20 minutes. It's on Fox Chicago. And it's a good show because it's, as we talked about, it's focused on Ditka. And there's also, on this weekend show, they have this event at Soldier Field called Football 101. And it's all focused on the ladies. It's like these awesome female Bears fans. They get really into it, and they have a Q&A and all kind of awesome stuff at Soldier Field. It's an event that's really focused towards the ladies. So there was some really funny stuff. A lot of funny. Kyle Long, Jordan Mills, Josh McCown, a bunch of guys were all there, and they had a great time with the ladies. So that's also featured on this weekend show.
Lyndsay, speaking about the ladies right before you go, just elaborate a little bit on how hard it is or easy, depending on how you feel, for a woman in the industry to make strides, and how hard you have to work to get to where you've gotten so far.
Well, I just think that, I think that there is a very small margin for error. I think, if I were to maybe say the wrong thing, people would say, oh, she doesn't know anything about sports. If I would just, fumble my words and maybe mess up one small detail, then it's sort of like, well, does she have any idea what she's talking about? Does she know anything about football? Does she know anything about sports? So I think that's the most difficult thing is I've been, even in college, back when I was working for the campus TV station at Kent State, I was always, the only female sports anchor. I worked with nine other male anchors. So I feel like this has been, this scenario for a while. And I feel like maybe you sort of have to prove yourself. But I think once people realize, I actually think she does know what she's talking about, then it gets a little bit easier. But I think there's just there's a very small margin for error. I think it's really important to be prepared and do your research and know your stuff. And as long as you're prepared and obviously you know what you're talking about, then, it should be good to go. But I definitely, I would stress that the importance of preparation, because like I said, you fumble one word and people could say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. So it can be tricky at times. It's a good question.
Well, on behalf of Chicago, us and the media and the Bears fans, we're glad that you're here. We love the show. We love the show. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have to have you back on too, and we can get you on at the right time. But we have to get you.
Oh no worries.
Well, we have to get you back on in the future and
get her in the studio.
Yeah, definitely have to get you in the studio too. That would be really, really cool. So thank you once again, Lyndsay, and everybody. You can find Lyndsay on Twitter at Petruny. I got it that time. Petruny.
Sounds good.
There you go, on Twitter. So thank you once again, Lyndsay. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and go Bears on Monday night, right?
Go Bears.
Go
That's
Bears.
right.
Right. Thanks, Lyndsay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye.
You too.
That was Lyndsay Petruny of Inside the Bears. You can find the show on Fox. I thought you could find it on Fox.
You're right. Correct.
Yeah, you can find it on Fox. Also, just go to the website. That's how I saw the video with her and Robbie Gould kicking the field goals. Like, wow, I always wonder because people really get on kickers, and she was out there. I didn't know she had a soccer background, but she was out there doing her thing too. And also,
she had the garbage can with her to catching the balls. Yeah.
And what's the name of the city they were from, Ken?
Aliquippa, Pennsylvania.
Aliquippa.
It's a hotbed for
never heard
football
of
players.
Aliquippa.
Like everyone, well, it's a town now that's hard on its times, like most steel cities.
Yeah.
Cities that produce factories like that. Even here in Chicago,
Yeah.
Gary,
Yeah.
factory jobs are down in America. But she's from Aliquippa. Dicka's from Aliquippa. Like I said, Darrell Revis, East 60. I don't know if it was East 60, but it was some ESPN thing that they had it on Darrell Revis and how his connection to Aliquippa and how he kind of won't let.
How far is it from Pittsburgh?
I would probably I couldn't tell you, but I don't think it's far. I don't think it's that far from Pittsburgh. I would say it's. I wouldn't call it a suburb, but I would probably say it's an hour, maybe somewhere like that. But again, I don't know. But it has to be probably in Western Pennsylvania. I'm sure it's in Western Pennsylvania because most football players like Tony Dorsett, most of those guys are like Western Pennsylvania guys.
Right.
So, Aliquippa is hot. Like, even right now, like, that's their big thing is football. That's all they have.
Kind of
And,
North Texas.
Yeah, it's a big thing out in Aliquippa. Like she said, Mike Ditka. And I'm sure if I was her family member, I would be happy, too, because of, Dicka's still representing your city on ESPN every day, especially a city it's not large.
He's Pittsburgh through and through.
Yeah. Well, no, he's Chicago. We have him. But it's just one of those things. But again, this is the Dan Davis Show. We'll be right back on the other side, and we're going to talk a little hockey with Sid the Kid, talk about the Blackhawks and what's going on in the NHL. This is
actually, with Sydney, too, we got Brandon Robinson coming on. We had to push him back. So he's coming on to talk a little NBA basketball as well, too.
All right. This is the Dan Davis Show on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.